So like I say, kind of like a little introduction to radicals. Should be super easy. Yes, sir.
I think my calculator's dead.
You think it's dead? All right. I can just play just that's all. All right, here we go. Let's just do the quick introduction. All right. And again, I'm pretty sure everybody's okay with this. All right. If we said the square root of 100, I'm sure everybody would tell me that's what? 10. Good. All right. Square root of 144. Uh-oh. Yeah, we're going to say no solution. All right. So I want everybody to put this down. I want everybody to put no solution. All right, because no number times itself is what? Negative. All right. So when you take Algebra 2, though, all right, there is, believe it or not, such things as imaginary numbers. All right, this is actually an imaginary number. So just for future, I just want you to put equals 6i. What do you think I stands for? Yeah, imaginary. All right, that's not going to be on any test. That's just something I want you to know. If you look on your calculator, there's an I button. All right, that's for work with imaginary numbers, believe it or not. All right, it's right above the decimal. Right above the decimal.
Do we take Algebra 2 next year?
No. You'll take geometry next year. All right, you'll take Algebra 2 in high school. All right, so here we go. Square root of 121. 11. Square root of negative 148. No solution. Uh-oh. Square root of negative 4. Negative 2. Because the negative's on the outside, that just means the number is what? Negative. All right? All right, so make sure you know that. Negative can't be on the inside. So then 7 would be what?
Negative 3.
And then negative 7, thank you. Who knows the square root of 256? 16, you guys are doing good. All right, so here we go. Square root of 500. Well, it can't be 22.
23.
23.
18.
Square root of 361. 19. And the square root of negative 196. Good job, guys. Hopefully you were not using your calculator for that. All right. Now, I do have... Now, for the next problems right now, all it is, believe it or not, is just typing it into your calculator because these are considered non-perfect squares. Okay, so here's what I want. All right. Back on track here. Negative square root 2. So, yeah, so we always round in math, we say to 3 decimal places. So we'll say that's going to be negative 1.414. Is everybody okay with that? Now, here, just listen. This is what I'm talking about. Stop just saying things. All right, you're smart enough to figure out where square root button is on your calculator, right? All right, go to the x squared button. Look above the x squared. What do you see? Square root. So you hit second square, then the square root comes in. All right, come on. All right. So again, do you really have to put the negative in? No, because you know the answer is what? Negative. So you just do square root 2. What?
Why is the equal sign up squiggly?
Because it's not equal. It's approximately. That's the symbol for approximately. To tell them that you have rounded. All right, and how many decimals are we rounding to? 3 decimal places for those of you guys who are listening. All right, so now square root of 38. 6.164. All right, help me with the square root of 249. 15.779. Square root of 131.
11.445.
11.445. Thank you. All right. Square root of 7. How much?
16 would be 11.
I'm asking for the square root of 7.
2.645.
2.645. Now, do I really care if it's 5 or 6 or 4? No, I don't really care. You don't really have to correct decimal places. Does everybody understand what I'm saying? I know whether you know what's going on. I would want you to round it properly, all right, but I don't want to argue over decimal places, all right? It's approximately close enough, all right? Square root of 52. 7.221.
12.96.
Square root of 168 is what?
12.96.
12.961.
22.33.
499 is what?
22.
22 or 23?
22.
That does make a difference. All right, thank you. 22.338. Everybody happy? All right, and now negative square root 217.
Negative 14.73.
731.
That's 0. 9
Okay, remember, I don't care. If you can't, listen, if you can't round to 3 decimal places, I don't even want to talk about it. All right? You can go to IXL about first grade, and they'll do rounding for you if you need to, refresh on rounding. IXL right around first grade. All right? If there's any doubt about it, we're not discussing it. Just go figure it out on your own. All right? Some of you definitely could check that out. All right? Now, the next one is called a cube root. All right? Cube root just means what times itself 3 times. All right? So again, you should be able to recognize these. All right? If I said the cube root of negative 125, now we know a cube root is possible to be negative because a negative times a negative times a negative is a what? Negative. So when you're inside a cube root, it can be negative. You just can't be negative on the inside of a square root. So this is negative 5. Well, we're going to find that out in a minute. All right? Not right now, though. I want everybody to try to tell me the cube root of 343. 11 times 11 times 11 is 1331. 7. Very good.
I got it.
7. All right. Now, an easy way, guys, is try to remember, all right, in my opinion, these are the things that you should do, guys. When you're doing this, 1 cubed is what? 1. 2 cubed is what? 8. 3 cubed. 4 cubed. 64. 5 cubed. 125. Now here's where people have a little bit of trouble. 6 cubed. We're going to do that so much eventually. You know that? Thank you. 216. 7 cubed. Yeah, 7 cubed is 343. 8 cubed is generally 512.
729.
And then 10 cubed.
Were we
All right.
supposed to write that?
Now, let me explain this. Stop talking now and just listen. I don't care if they're using a calculator. All right? Just try to remember them. All right? 6 cubed generally is a little bit harder. But in your head, listen, guys. I really want to talk about this. Uh-oh. I want to know 36 times 6. All right? Even if you don't know how to do that, you should be able to do 6 times 30 is 180, and 6 times 6 is 36. And then 180 and 36 is what? 216. All right? That's the thing I'm trying to show you. All right? Now, 7 cubed, sometimes that's harder for kids until you realize 49 times 9 is the same as 50 times 9. What is 50 times 9?
50 times 7.
I'm sorry, 50 times 7, thank you. It's 350. So it's 50 times 7, and then subtract 7. All right? So you don't need to do 49, do 57s, and then subtract 7. All right? That's the easy way to do that. Now, 8 to the third power is easy to remember because 8 is 2 times 2 times 2, correct?
Yes.
All right. So now watch how I try to remember this, guys. 2 to the third cubed is the same as 2 to the ninth power. All right. And when you do 2 to the ninth, 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, 64, 128, 256, 512. All right. So it's easy to count by twos. It is real simple to count by twos. Now look, don't be distracted. Listen to what I'm telling you. I'm showing you the easy way or the ways that you kind of do the multiplication. Now, of course, if you want to do 64 times 8, you can do 60 times 8 and, 4 times 8 and then add them together. That's also a way to do it. All right? But counting by twos, you guys should be great at. Now, 9 cubed, everybody's like, oh, how do you know that's 729? What's 9 times 8? 72, and 9 times 1 is 9, 729. That's just easy. And of course, 10 cubed is just 3 zeros. All right? So again, those are the ways, those are the things that I would try to see if you can memorize those in some way. If you know those, life is much easier. All right? Life is much easier in the math world. All right, so now back on track. What's the cube root of 8? 2. Okay. So here we go.
15.
Thank you.
True.
All right. Listen. Just stop interrupting. I will show you in a second. All right. It's better not to do it with a calculator. It's better to kind of think about it. All right. So again, the cube root of 3375 is what? Now, I would have tried 15 just because it ends in a what? It ends in a 5. All right? So again, 15. We know what the cube root of 729 is. 9. Cube root of negative 1. Negative 1. All right, now, here we go. Cube root of 8. Shh. I'm listening.
Is it not no solution?
I'm not understanding your question.
On the last one.
Shh. What are you talking about? All right? You're talking about his question. All right? Leave him alone. Let him communicate. What?
I thought it would be no solution.
For which one? Okay, here we go. Why would you think that? Is it a square root or a cube root? So, what's number 22? Did you put no solution for 22? What did you put? Do you want it to be no solution for 22? Well, what's the difference between 22 and 27? So the answer is why? Or negative times a negative. I know what you mean. 2 negatives positive, then positive times a negative is your negative. That's correct. Now, you thought through the process. Easy. That's what I want. All right. I don't want just the answer. Think through it. All right. Easy. All right. Now, negative 8,000. Of course, I would want you to know the cube root of 8 is what? The cube root of 1,000 is, therefore, 20. All right. But don't forget the what? Negative. All right. So I have negative 20. Now, let's just go right there. 1, 3, 3, 1. What's that? 11, because that's what I told you earlier, right? 11, okay? And then 512 we know is 8, and then negative 729, and then the cube root of 64, 4, and then the other one, yeah. Is that right? Negative 14? All right. Now, those of you guys who are just phenomenal with numbers because you haven't used your calculator one bit. All right. Now, what we're going to do is we'll show you how to approximate. First, I want everybody to hit the math button on their calculator. And then you drop it down to where it says Cube root. All right, which is what number?
4.
4. All right, and then the cube root comes up on your calculator, and then you can type in 647. All right, and we say that's what? Point what? 649. Okay, now I want everybody to stop, go back to their calculator, and here's how I would like you to do it. If I were making up the calculator, I would never put cube root on there. All right, because cube roots and square roots can be written as an exponent. All right, so I want everybody to write this down. All right, the square root of x is the same as x to the 1/2 power. The square root of x is x to the 1/2 power. So the cube root is going to be x to the what? X to the 1/3. Cube root is x to the 1/3. If I said the 4th root, it would be to the what? 1/4. Now, for me personally, it's easier on the calculator. Everybody type in 647. Everybody hit 647. Caret
It's the little
1 divided by 3. All right? And you should get the same thing. All right? Caret, perfect.
It's above the dividing.
1 divided by 3. The caret is this button, guys. That's all it is. It just raises it to a power. All right? All right, so does everybody agree that gets the same answer? Right? And if I did the square root, I could just do caret 0.5. All right? Because 0.5 is the same as 1/2. All right, so again, I don't really care about the cube root button. I want to know about the caret button and then 1 divided by 3. All right. So now, what's the matter now? Hey, stop interrupting, guys. What's the matter with you?
Wait, so it's caret.
647. Then you hit this button right here. Then you do 1 divided by 3. Now, on your calculator, I think you're going to have to you need parentheses around it. That's why it's the problem. So do 647 caret parentheses 1 divided by 3. You don't even have to close parentheses.
Okay.
All right? So now the cube root of 325. 6 point what?
8 to the 5.
All right, now I want everybody to look at number 43. All right, I want everybody to look at 43. It says, if you have a square tarp covering a softball field, it has an area of 441 square meters. What is the length of one side? No, 21. Thank you. Now, how do we know it's 21? Because look, guys, here's the square, right? And the area was 441. All right. So the area of a square, you had to remember, was x squared, right? So x squared is equal to 441. So how do you think I undo a square? Take the square root. So if I take the square root of 441, that'll tell you. Can I get on that? All right. So now we have a cube. So if I have a cube, all right, and it tells me what the volume is, and I want to know the side of the cube, to undo a cube, I would take the what? Cube root. All right, you take the cube root. All right, so if I take 2744 and raise it to the 1/3 power, we should be able to tell me that that was 14. All right, so the side of the cube is going to be 14. Now, how did I know it was cubed? Because the volume of a cube is side cubed. All right, so if I want to undo a cube, I would do the what? Cube root. All right, remember, cube root is the same as raising it to the 1/3 power. Bless you. All right, let's see what the Eiffel Tower is telling me. All right, the highest observation deck on the Eiffel Tower of Paris is about 899 feet above the ground. About how far could a visitor see on a clear day? All right, use the equation. Distance equals 1.22 times h. where d is the distance to the horizon in miles, and h is the person's distance off the ground. So obviously the higher you go, the further you can see. All right. So now we're going to go, the distance that you can see is 1.22 times the square root of our height, which is what?
36.5.
No, 899.
Oh.
All right. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, you guys. Get with me. All right. So how far can you see?
36.57.
36 point what?
57.
579 will go whatever. Feet. All right. Not feet, but what? Miles. Thank you. All right. All right. Now, that really is it for today. So here's what I want you to do. Finish up 36. I couldn't take any more, you guys mumbling under your breath. So finish 36 through 42, and then go and do the other page. All right. Finding the square root, you should be able to tell me those, all right, without a calculator. All right. And then you should approximate. Now, obviously, if you don't know what it is, use your calculator, but then try to what? Try to remember it. All right, that's the idea. All right, use your calculator sparingly. All right, you should be able to tell me what the square root of 81 is. All right, without using a calculator. All right, you may have any questions. All right.